Good morning, everyone on the West Coast. Good afternoon to the rest of you. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us. In a minute, Manish Sharma will be telling you about our topic today. He's Chief Operating Officer at Actionable Science. And Manish has spent pretty much a good deal of his career, in fact, 20 years all told, working with service desk leaders to try and develop technologies to help them solve their many problems. And he's also a leader in exploring the use of artificial intelligence to solve problems in this space. Manish, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Larry.
So a couple of quick housekeeping details before Manish takes over. You'll be getting a link to the recording tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that email. Feel free to share it. And also I want to point out to you down at the bottom of your screen, you may have to mouse over before it appears, but there's a Q&A tab. And we invite you to submit your question at any time during the event, and we'll have a look at your questions and respond to as many as we have time for when we're finished. So with that, Manish, I'll turn the call over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Larry, and thanks everyone who has joined the webinar today, taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know that the current crisis is forcing a lot of us to work differently, to work extra hours, to figure out how to deal with the deluge of issues that are coming to the help desk way. So I really appreciate you taking out the time. What I'm planning to do is to walk you through a small presentation and then show you a demo, and hopefully we'll do all of that in the next 30 minutes. So let's talk a little bit about what has changed, right, for help desk today, and what is likely to change in next 3 months, 6 months, and so on and so forth. Well, one of the biggest change that we are seeing is that employees do not have coworkers sitting right next to them, right? So earlier you had a problem. What you did was you could just look to your right or look to your left, and you'll find someone, one of your coworkers, and say, "Hey, Tim, how do I do this?" Right? And they will have some suggestions, and you will get that done. But that is not happening anymore because your coworkers are your family, and they probably cannot help you there. So that's a big fundamental change. Um, your desk phone is also gone, right? Like you don't just have this 4 or 5 digit extension number that you can call on and get the help that you want. So the threshold of getting help has gone up a little bit. Second thing that has happened is that the situation changed dramatically over the last 2 months, right? And all of us were working from home. Now, I wish that was the last change that we saw, but the reality is that there'll be more changes, new things will evolve, and therefore you need a help desk that can actually communicate all these changes to the employees quickly and effectively. So that has also changed. It's more urgent. The need to rapidly inform everyone about something has also changed. Then there is the peak demand, right? I mean, we were all getting too many calls, all the remote desktop setup, VDI, Zoom, all that kind of stuff. And there were new records, right? Like these were the kind of call volumes that we had not seen earlier. And unfortunately, that's going to continue. Another change and another big, level of calls. So we need to figure out a way how to deal with that. Lastly, automation, everyone has plans to do automation, right? But now those plans are, timelines have got crunched, right? Instead of doing an automation that we were thinking we'll do in 6 months or 12 months or something like that, maybe we need to do that automation right now. Finally, the cost, right now we are on month 1 or month 2 of the impact. By the time we reach month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, I have a feeling we are going to have larger discussions around cost. So let's talk about, what does it mean for help desk models, right? So the new models are going to be, in our opinion, something like this. Remember when you go to Amazon, are you able to get and help, get some help on phone right away? The answer is no. They make you work through AI first, and the AI basically understands your problem, pinpoints the issue, auto resolves it if possible, and maybe create a ticket, and if required, then it gets the expert. The same thing is going to happen to us. And you can have basically that option and also an option over phone. I don't think it's going to change overnight, but both the options will exist. I think the preferred option is going to be where users are going to come. They're going to talk to VA, figure out, VA is going to perhaps help them in all probability. If the VA cannot help them, then it is going to bring in experts. And by the way, the L1 job is also going to get elevated a little bit. So L1, L2, and L3, everyone will act like an expert, different kind of experts, but experts. And they're going to help resolve the issue that the VA cannot resolve. And by VA, I mean virtual assistant, just so we are on the same page. I also hope you notice the team symbol here. So we suspect a lot of this is going to happen over Teams, right? Because now Teams will become the de facto collaboration tool, de facto tool to work and get in touch with other and look at each other's screen and what have you. So that is therefore how we view it. And by the way, virtual assistant will be creating all the tickets, right? Because let's be real, users never created much tickets anyway, and and IT help desk L1 was creating most of the tickets. I think that's going to change as well. We are already seeing in our implementations that VA is doing most of the ticket creation and ticket updation. Going to the next slide, let's talk about the product, right, and the architecture. But just to give you a sense of what is there in the box, right? So obviously, there's a very smart IT help desk trained chatbot, which means the chatbot that can understand what you want to say to it in IT help desk. It can react to you. You can say something about Oracle. You can say about password. You can say about software installation, and it will understand, right? So that's very key part, and which is already built in. But then there's more. It is powered by a very strong knowledge management behind it. It is powered by a live chat module so that you can switch over to bring a human into the conversation when required. There's a workflow engine, right? Imagine a situation where you need approval, or you need 24 hours before you run a script or something like that. That kind of orchestration power is there in this product. Of course, it integrates at SSO seamlessly, and there is a no code bot studio. What that means is that if you want to change, edit something, add a flow, you don't have to reach to an expert. You can do it yourself. It's so simple. Finally, there are a couple of other things which are very important, which is analytics, right? I mean, data is everything, as all of us know, and there are beautiful insights built into the product. And then there is a micro learning system, which means that you can, for example, you want to train all the employees on a new change management that has happened, or you want to train a new help desk agent who has just come in. That can be done using the micro learning system that we have. It's very unique. And of course, all this sits on a Azure platform, SOC 2 certified, GDPR compliant, and very secure. All this is available on Teams, web or mobile. And of course, we connect to all the leading ticketing systems, ServiceNow, ConnectWise, BMC Remedy, and Jira, etc. And don't forget that we have our own ticketing system as well. So, this is something which is important as people start to think about cost. This comes with a built-in incident management system. Let's talk about the business case a little bit. What is the business case of switching over? So average ticket cost, as we all know, is approximately 15, maybe $20. And 50% of this cost is people cost, and 50% approximately is technology cost, right? Your ticketing system and whatnot. So the typical breakdown of help desk request from our experience is something like this. 40% of the issues actually get handled by L1 help desk, but they get rerouted to eventually to L2 and L3. Password resets are about 20%, give or take, right? As approximately half of these will be Active Directory, another half will be other systems. 10% of the issues are service request, right? I want to switch on my I want to order a laptop, or or mouse or what have you. And then there are potential self-service issues and others. In a typical automation potential, if you look at what percentage of these can be actually be automated, this is our very conservative estimate, right? And it's an estimate based on the implementations we have done. You can actually, at least 30% of the issues can be rerouted automatically by a virtual agent. Therefore, the L1 help desk doesn't have to do anything. And this 30% of the overall tickets. Half of password resets can be done, taken care of by, at the very minimum, by virtual agents. 10%, all of service requests can be handled, and pretty much all of self-service can be handled. All told, we are talking about 65% of the issues conservatively can be handled by a virtual assistant. What that means in terms of numbers is you start with 100. Let's say you start with 100 tickets. 65 of those tickets can be auto resolved by VA, right? And by the way, don't forget, even for other 35 plus tickets, we will create a ticket. I mean, we'll understand the issue and we'll create the ticket. Don't get me wrong, but maybe we cannot resolve these issues or hand it over to L2, L3. Now, assuming that there is only a 60% adoption rate, right? 60% adoption rate. You still, and they're assuming that there's a price for this fee for the service that you're getting, you are still going to have at least 25% saving right away, and that's huge, right? By the way, I have a feeling that more and more organizations are going to mandate a VA. They're going to say this is how it is going to be, and you got to go to VA. And in which case, this number is going to change. The adoption will reach to 100%. So these numbers can change dramatically. Finally, I want to talk about what this does to you. It changes how your self-help assets, right? You have a lot of self-help assets that were not getting used. They're going to get used, and basically you are going to get a better ROI on your ITSM ticket as well. Here is the larger picture. If you are having a conversation with your CIO or CEO about why you should be doing this, obviously it increases the user productivity, which is important, and reduces the user frustration. Essentially, it makes you future proof. You are going in the direction now where everyone is going to be headed or is already heading, right? So I think you have to go in that direction. Pretty much you're going to see a big wave, and perhaps you don't want to be the last one going in that wave, and not to get the benefits of what this wave offers. And finally, it is agent productivity as well, right? Agents get all the help, they get the training, they get the support, they don't have to create the tickets, they don't have to do the mundane task. So these are the kind of larger picture business case that you need to think about. And by the way, this is very expandable to HR, finance, facilities, and so on and so forth. That being said, let's look at a quick demo. I am cognizant of the time. I know that we are almost halfway through.
Manish, we'll pause here for a real quick poll. Just take a moment.
Sure.
So we'd like to know from everybody, in your case, in your organization, what percentage of tickets are created by your end users? And while they're thinking about their answer to that one, Manish, maybe you could offer us a few thoughts. You kind of discussed already, you expand a bit on the question of participation rates, adoption rates, I should say.
Yeah, adoption rates are very important. Like I was alluding, unfortunately, some chatbots adoption rates will be 10 or 15%, right? And in some cases, it will go as high as 80%. Why? I think the reason is how much focused you are on this issue. Is adoption really important for you? Are you using all the levers that you have at your disposal to get great adoption? For example, one of the adoption tricks is to have your product on Teams, a channel where everyone is today. We are soon publishing a blog about this, and I'm happy to forward that blog about 8 points of adoption to everyone along with the emails that we'll send.
Okay, very good. It looks, Manish, it looks like the majority of our attendees are answering in the 0 to 25% range. So I imagine that's not surprising to you.
Yes, absolutely. I've never heard any employee ever say, oh, I created a ServiceNow ticket or Jira ticket and it was a fantastic experience. I mean, let's be real. All these products were built for admin, for the agents and not for the end user employees. Employees were used to picking up the phone and calling the agents instead of actually going through ServiceNow, and very rarely will they do that.
Okay, great.
Great. So let's go on and have a look at the product and the experience, right? So nowadays, a lot of people are going through Zoom, right? So let's say, um, how do I get um, Zoom plugin for Outlook? Let's say that's your problem. Um, And here you go. There's an answer. It helps you step one, step two, step three. Pictures, beautiful, right? Great experience. Let's say you're about, and oh, it created a ticket. Fantastic. So not only it helped you, but recorded the ticket and marked it resolved. And I want to go back to topic of our webinar, 15 seconds and less. And by the way, this was like, 2 second or 3 second experience. So 3 seconds, you get an issue resolved, you get it, raise a ticket. That's a fantastic experience in my book, and there's an experience that will bring you back. Let's assume, let's do one more Zoom question. So for example, I forgot, I do not have um, Zoom meeting Zoom meeting details, right? And it actually, it gives me some options. Another thing about our product is, if you ask a question which is kind of close to two or three questions, it's going to give you an option. It's going to, and you select an option and you get the answer that you're looking for, and you're happy, and you can move forward, right? You know how to help yourself. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, you every time I finish something, there's a ticket created, and it will hit my inbox, which is not great for while you're watching it, but it's great experience from the perspective of a user, because I get to quickly see, what I did. Let's look at, for example, I'm having some browser issues. So let's say my Google Chrome um, is not opening, right? What do I do, right? My Google Chrome is not opening. Here you go. These are the various options which are close enough. It's very smart. You can set up synonyms and whatnot, and it tells me how to help myself again, right? You can draw circles, you can do all kind of stuff here. I'm going to ask it another question, which will show you another dimension of this product. So for example, I want to create a Salesforce report, and it gives me an answer, and this is a video and a GIF kind of answer. So you can have videos, you can have GIFs as responses, and that is fantastic, because all of us are visual, right? We want to get the experience, visually. We get, this is easier for me than to read a long article, right? This helps. And by the way, we are inspired by Twitter. So all our responses, we try to keep it short. Our recommendation for the users is to keep it short, and in order for them to, for all of us to digest this bite-sized information. Let's do a couple of other things. So for example, now I'm going to show you things which are actions, right? It's not just I gave you an answer, but actions. So for example, um, I want to add someone to a deal, right? So there's a deal distribution list. Okay, these are the distribution lists that is there in my organization. I picked one of those, and I say, all right, this is the deal where I want to make a change. So let's say if I want to add Saurabh Kumar to this deal, and it quickly looked up the email address from the system, right? And says, is this the person you want to add? And I say, yeah. And of course, it's assuming that I have the right privileges to do that. If I didn't have the right privileges, by the way, it can go through a workflow, right? Which is very important for people to understand that it is not just a chatbot, but it's a workflow and process orchestration tool as well. Is there anything else I can help? Yes, I have changed my mind. I'm very fickle. I want to remove someone from a deal. Let's see what happens now. Okay. And which deal? Guess what? I'm going to go to the same deal. Um, my organization won't like it if I mess with anyone else's deal. So here you go. Aha. You see Saurabh added here, and I don't want him in this deal. There you go. He's gone. So you see, and there's a ticket created, and so on and so forth. So it's amazing how quickly you can get things done, and you are basically more powerful than ever to get things done. Let's check one more thing. You create a lot of tickets, and let's say you want to know the status of your ticket, right? Like, I want to know what's going on. And by the way, a lot of people get calls for this, right? A lot of help desk get calls for this. So isn't these are the tickets that we are working on? If you notice, if you're following me, you will see these are the tickets that we're working on. So let's say this is the ticket that I want to, I want to see the status. And there you go. This is what is going on in this TL. And do you want to update it? If I want to update it, I can basically, you know, uh, go through the entire, thing. I can change it. I can save it. Right now I don't want to change it, but if I wanted, I could have changed it. Is there anything else I can help you with? Maybe I can show you one or two more things, and then we'll go back to our, final comments. But for example, let's say your laptop screen is cracked. Let's say, we are all working from home. Kids are running around. Guess what? One of the kids got entangled with the charging cord. I know it's a nightmare scenario, but it happens. So if this happens, it quickly checks me. It knows what kind of employee I am, where I'm working from, and it knows it cannot help me, right? It's not going to, virtual agent is not going to help fix my laptop. So it is now integrating with Bing APIs and trying to look at the approved service centers and giving me that kind of information. The point that I'm trying to get across is look at the interface and look at the kind of information you can get here, right? This is phenomenal. Um, let's try one or two more last things. And one of the things I want to show is, for example, I want to, how does a human get into the pictures? For example, if I say not able to send emails, right? Let's assume that I'm not able to send emails. So it asks me a bunch of questions, try this, try this. Now, does it happen? I say no. Have you changed the password recently? No. Are you able to receive email? No. Are you able to send this? So it's going through its checklist, right? And it's doing a very good diligence of trying to figure out what is it that I'm trying to do. And then if ask me some additional information, I'm not one of those very talkative guys. I say none. And then it gives me an option. It says, hey, I can't help you. Do you want to talk to a representative? Let's say I want to, right? And let's see what happens there. So I have a colleague of mine who is on the other side, hopefully. And there you go. We are connected to the agent. Um, and I'm very lucky to have our CEO as the agent working for me today. It doesn't happen every day. So now I think the person on the other side is looking um, at the ticket right now as we speak, because they can go through the entire transcript at their end. They know what is happening right now. And, hopefully they're going through it and they'll find out what the problem is and they'll figure out how to help me. Right? There you go. And I say thanks. And maybe they can, they can take it from there. I mean, we can probably even, if you're on Teams, by the way, this conversation can very quickly become a Teams conversation where you can even show the screen to people, right? So that's the beauty of Teams that you can add here, which is possible through our product. Um, but let's assume I'm done with this given the timeline that we have here, and goodbye, bye for now. And once I get disconnected, see, this is how the conversations end. You get a feedback and you can say, this was, maybe I'm biased, huh? Maybe I'm biased. But it was a great experience for me. 15 seconds and less. I want to remind everyone, 15 seconds and less. I want to show just one more thing in show and tell, and then we'll move on. Where is my Teams? Come on. All right. This is Teams. This is James on Teams, right? And if you're on Teams, you can get the entire help that you want here. For example, you want some help, and you don't have to write full sentences sometimes. Let's say you want help in installing a software, right? And it says, okay, select the software. Let's say I want to do Adobe. Maybe I want to be very creative in next week or so when I'm not, my other options are gone. And it's what it is doing is initiating the provisioning. So it can do it via APIs, it can do by images. There are a lot of different ways it can do it. And boom, and it tells me it will be done in 4 hours. Is there anything else? Software provisioning for people can be as simple as that. Of course, there can be rules, right? You don't want to give everyone license for everything, but that's where the workflow come into place, right? And this is the kind of experience that I'm talking about in Teams that can be a game changer for the IT help desk. Finally, let's go back to just to wrap it up, and I'm going to take some questions towards the end. But I would just want to finish one thought here, um, and the thought is, um, why us, right? You might have seen some other products. I'm sure not such an impressive demo, but some other products. But we have a very unique language detection model. It's unique. We can pretty much understand anything in IT help desk. It's pre-built. It comes to you free of cost. Of course, other than subscription cost, we don't have to invest implementation cost in that. Second, it's we are focused on adoptions. We are really focused on getting as many customers, employees to use it. This is not a toy. This is an enterprise grade product that we expect employees to use. And we have various technologies and techniques by which we are making it happen. And finally, we are focused on auto resolution. So this is not about just chatting. It's about resolving issues. And that percentage is going to keep going up from 65 to 75 and so on and so forth. We are on a mission to automate this. And today, finally, I mean, if you want to buy a product, you can go to Microsoft Transact, Azure Marketplace from anyone who knows about Microsoft, how it sells, Azure Portal, App Source, and you can buy a product there. So we are a partner of Microsoft and you can buy from there. And the implementation can be a 3-day quick implementation, but typically for IT help desk, 4 to 8 weeks and you'll be up and running. So I'm going to take a pause and stop here and see if there are any questions, Larry.
Yes, Manish, a number of questions. Here's a good one to start with. Does the chatbot work with Slack? And does it work with Google's newest chat service, Chat, formerly Hangouts Chat?
Yes, it works with Slack. There's a channel. So we are built on Microsoft technologies, but we have a channel with Slack. It works with chat. With Google, we have played with it and made it happen on an experimental level. But I'm pretty certain we can make it work with Google as well. So there's a client with which actually we are proceeding with a pilot right now on Google. So I'll have a definitive answer like within a week. But fair to assume we are starting on the pilot because we know we can do it.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. How does this use AI?
Well, AI is, everyone thinks, I mean, a lot of us think like AI is obviously the NLP part, right? Understanding the part, but there's a lot of other magic in this product. Some of the things that I didn't show you include, just imagine um, ability of the virtual agent to understand an image, ability of the virtual assistant to understand a document, right? So suppose you upload your, some document. I don't want to say W2 because it says PII, but let's say you upload a document and I can read that document as a VA. Isn't that amazing? What kind of experience you'll have if your VA can read a document and say, hey, you uploaded last year's document, you need to upload this year documents. So we can read, we can see images, we can make intelligent decisions, we can learn. There's a whole lot of AI built. We can machine learn certain stuff, right? Some very specific stuff for you. For example, some organization is dealing with certain specific task. We can machine learn that particular image or task. So there's a whole lot of AI built into this product.
Okay. We're a minute past, but I think maybe we'll take time for just one more question. How many answers are produced by actionable science and how many do we need to make?
How many questions? Sorry.
Answers. How many answers are produced by actionable science and how
I
many
see.
do we
I
make?
see.
Yeah.
It's about the content. So someone is asking about the content. Well,
Yes.
we come in with a starter kit, right? We will cover a lot of your starting, content that you need to get a started roll off. And then, I'll tell you, we call this problem a cold start problem. This is a real problem, right? So we know that you are already busy and you might not be able to spend a month to create content. So we will bring some standard content, then we'll take your content in, digest it, and using some of the automated learning, etc., will actually create new content. You will have to verify it, but we can also create new content for you. And then once that basis is ready, then we can keep adding on to it as we go along. But yes, we will help you there.
Okay, very good. All right, we're a bit past the hour now, but thanks very much, everyone, for taking the time. We do appreciate it, want to respect your time. So we will be signing off now. Please keep your eye out tomorrow for that email with the link of the recording. And with that, I will bid you all good afternoon.
Thanks so much.